new god.
Yep, the final tie-in to the event so far, and then we'll be all caught up. So, the rise of the new god, the darkest night. Batman always wins. So, this is written by James Tyrion IV. So, we get hyped for this tie-in, and because he has written some of the best tie-ins, except for Joshua Williamson. This is honestly the best tie-in in the series so far, in my opinion, and because it just feels more personal than ever, and also feels kind of a Godzilla-esque story, but I'll get to that. But the primary factor of this is that it kind of beats out speed metal, and I enjoyed the hell out of that because it was a definitive Wally West story. So, James Tyron the Fourth is the writer of this event, and that was of this one shot. So that was awesome. And then and then it takes place after the events of four, which focuses on the darkest night, right? With narration, and let's dig in. For untold millennia, the new god Metron sat upon the Mobius chair, a passive observer in the grand story of creation. The chair gifted him with near omniscient sight and understanding, a powerful cosmic awareness that he bore alone and guarded fiercely. Metron believed the chair was the key to unlocking the ultimate mysteries of the Source. The great energy of creation that lay beyond the barrier of the end of his universe and lived in all things. The power from beyond, whose unseen hands have created the multiverse. Metron died with the mystery still burning in his mind, unanswered, the great story unfinished. And now his chair sits, tampered with, broken, its power harnessed by the nightmare set on ending that grand story once and for all. The dark multiverse was never meant to be part of the order of things. Its impossible worlds twisted echoes of their cousins in the multiverse. Above were the refuge of the world forge. Broken universes too unstable to join the order of worlds. Its inhabitants too dangerous to be allowed to interfere with the natural course of events. In the early days of the multiverse, great cosmic powers set the Fugonauts, that's the Kugar, the borders of the dark, to keep it from contaminating reality. It is unlikely that even they foresaw how dangerous that would prove to be, because they failed at their job, and Tempest Fugonaut has not been seen since. Reality quakes in response to this new dark god, recently bestowing with nigh omnipotence. Every living being feels it from one end of the universe to the other. Refugees from the shattered multiverse tremble in each other's arms. They have thoughts that retreat to Earth Zero meant they were safe. But now they see there is no safe place left in all of creation. At the end of time, Rip Hunter watches the lights of hypertime burn out one by one, as possibilities die around him. The end is imminent. There is no time left. Yeah, what happened to Rip Hunter? Where has he been, honestly? Hey, you could really use his help right now. Oh, and I'm trying to remember this other guy's name. I'm trying to remember his name. Man, Rip Hunter. And there's this other guy. He was killed by John Constantine and deceased. Hi. Oh god, I can't remember. Time Waver, I think. In the spear of gods, the great powers shudder at this new god's might. They want to believe he can still be stopped, but there remains only one who could rival his power. Perpetua, mother of the multiverse. And the darkest night confronts Perpetua in the grand cosmos, proclaiming, I want you to know something before I kill you. It is every time I had to praise your name. Every time I bow to you, every lie I had to tell to bend you to my will. I was always going to be the apex predator. I was never satisfied. Was never going to be satisfied by playing second fiddle to you. Oh, I am older than this multiverse, you foul creature. You are nothing but a nightmare from the dark. That's right. I am your nightmare. As he stabs Perpetua in the arm, bleeding, her blood spewing out, where your story ends. And thus the great cosmic battle begins. Worlds collide, universes shatter, despite galaxies smashed into one another. Rise of the new god. And, oh god, this is going to be an epic calamity battle of cosmic proportions. It will be the most shocking, and we cut away from that awesome battle going on with a tear in space. Boo! This is Godzilla! Boo! The battle rages across every facet of reality, drawing the attention of all those powerful enough to bear witness. You notice the surge of an alien energy that rips through the fabric of space-time, not from the bleed, but from the overvoid. As Earth sits in a greater universe, which itself sits in a greater multiverse, this dying multiverse sits in an even greater Omniverse, and it has been watching. Oh, we're right back to the action, so Perpetua, it's currently going ahead and throwing an alien planet of Earth that looks like Earth into the face of the Darkest Night, but the Darkest Night has somehow retaliated by smashing a planet into her face. Acing lands up to fight another. Oh dear, this is progressing much too quickly. 2 Omega-class cosmic entities could collapse the entire system before our survey is complete. I will need to perform my function quickly. And did they just say Omega class? So that, yeah, this is where this gets very interesting. This guy is from the Overvoid, which and part of the higher up. So essentially what they have just stated here, that the one above all is part of this story, because he created the Marvel multiverse. The Presidents created the original DC universe, the original DC multiverse that split off after Convergence and formed its own multiverse. And now we got this multiverse that was created by Perpetua. Comics confusing, I don't get it. And now we get the Omniverse trying to look into this. Then he transports himself to the Hellscape, previously from Askira. Are you the one whose presence drew me here? He grabs the Joker's neck. No, you are cosmically insufficient, a strange nuisance on your world. It is a wonder they allow you to live. Ah, so you're like every single person that has criticized the fact that Batman does not kill the Joker, but lets him live and tries to save him on multiple occasions, even though he could just kill him without actually killing him and not breaking his code. And even the gods are saying, okay, yeah, Bats, you do realize that makes no sense. Hey, mister, why the long face? As he teleports away, and we see what looks to be the Riddler and not Mr. Freeze, the Flash based villain. Oh, I've got it. You must be the Batman who stuck his head in the oven. That must be it. Yeah, so Joker continues to make jokes on this. Yes, but then he leaves him and just says, you are Roger Hayden. You are the Psychopirate. What the are you? I am called Chronicler. I am a functionary of the source of all things, and I require information. He pulls out a book from his briefcase, because I question why he even had to bring that, where the others remember only echoes of what has come before. You remember each iteration of history between crisis-level events. You know the way this world has changed. The Codex Omniverse is recording the history of this world as we speak, from the collective memory of your fellow Earthlings. But the information you hold is unique, and I require it. And thus, he examines in instantaneous power the entire history of the DC universe throughout its history. Oh my. It is done. I thank you. This multiverse is remarkable. I've never seen so many die, but they are rarely so colorful. I wish I could learn more about these beautiful characters and their stories. Yeah, here's the thing. Since they are clearly establishing the inevitable, what now looks more like an inevitability of a secret crisis, he just basically said, hey, DC's better than you, Marvel. Get used to it. I am the Chronicler, therefore I am right. He then looks more into the Psychopirate as he says, but you don't have any more to give me, do you? You're right. I agree. Doesn't it make you sad that I don't have any more to take? My Medusa mask. It should. Oh, I am incapable of feeling for the dead. I simply come to chronicle what has occurred here, so that I may be remembered when this is all over. These stories do seem to be worth remembering, but they have not been cared for. Wait, is this really the end? Oh, yes. Which means there's not much more time to waste before this incredible multiverse is gone. There must more I must learn. And he teleports, which throws the Medusa mask wearing Psychopirate away into the back. Then he transports somewhere else, ripping open the wall, with Brainiac drone forces coming out. Eliminate intruder. And he wipes them away with a wave of his hand. This is a waste of your defenses. Your drones are incapable of damaging me. I am an omniversal functionary, protected by the source of all things. Show yourself, Viral Docs, son of Brainiac. I've been sending signals into the greater Omniverse for the last few months, trying to escape this multiverse before its inevitable death. I registered an incursion from the Overvoid, and I assume that it was you. You are correct. Yes, that's usually the case. I have an offer for you. This ship belonged to my father. His databanks carry the history of this universe. Every text from every world my father has ever cataloged, logged, and destroyed, along with full archives of my home planet of Kolo. Information must be the only truly omniversal currency. Let's make a deal. So basically he was like, okay, so we're doomed, we're all fucked. So I'm going to try and bargain with gods, essentially, and get out of here with him. He then just says, yeah, fuck it, I'm just going to take it. I am pleased you have so much to offer. I admit this job has captured my interest more than I expected. But I am not authorized to make deals with the dead. Only to record and move on. No! And then he witnesses the history of the cosmic universe. Because although Psychopirate carries the history of every single DC iteration that's ever existed, from DC pre-crisis, post-crisis, Flashpoint, to Rebirth, to New 52, from Zero Hour, or from Infinite Crisis, which probably makes him the most important character outside of cosmic history. That's not just cosmic history. But he then says this. The Chronicler speaks, saying, I do not understand. There is so much innate power in this multiverse. How can it be allowed to get corrupted to the point of destruction? Yeah, he's actually starting to get pissed. This is a place of heroes and villains. A cosmic fairy tale that should go on forever. Pfft. Brainiac's son just says, you should try living in it before you get so damn precious. Those cosmic fairy tales tend to be destabilized entire galaxies. There's no point in getting upset about it. There are clearly other places, other stories. I intend to see it myself. He traps the Chronicler, much to his sadness. That's where he just says, do you truly want to know what lies beyond your reality? The sort of multiverses I've recorded as they've died. The Codex Omniverse carries the history of trillions of dead multiverses. Do you wish to know what the majority look like as they die? Much to his horrendous shock, and he vomits out or his guts out. Oh god, he's probably horrified. And also this leads to my question. So he had to have seen the multiverse, the Marvel multiverse, when it was destroyed by the Beyonders incursion event during the Hickman era, or before Secret Wars. So he has to know Marvel exists, right? Like when you establish as an omniverse, it's not just one aspect of a bunch of history like the DC universe. No. The Omniverse is everything. So this universe, Halo, Microsoft's games, Gears of War, all these multiverses, all these worlds that exist. So everything, Omniverse is basically the idea of all is canon. So there could be multiple Star Wars timelines. There could be multiple Marvel continuities. There could be all of history and reality are all part of a collective multiverse. One singular, gigantic, overly complicated continuity. And the Chronicler is part of this, apparently, this gigantic council of people who create multiverses. You do not cherish what you have, Viral Docs. You think so highly of yourself. You would cast away all that and tap the potential for the dream of finer shores. Your knowledge is too limited. I require more. No, you're lying. There has to be more out there. There has to be a better place than this. No! As the Chronicler disappears. The Chronicler walks across the surface of the Earth's moon and watches strange gods unleash cosmic horror against each other. Oh, Perpetua and Darkest Night, we're back on the fight! We're fired up again! And he looks at this planet below. This is where the final battle will happen, where the last stand will take place against Oblivion. He wants to hope for them. He wants to believe they have a future, but his presence says otherwise. And a greater power already is pulling him to depart. His Kodak filled with all histories recorded and unrecorded. He plays them over and over in his mind. And he makes a decision. Oh, yeah, he's gonna fight, man. He's gonna fight, and he digs into the ground. Oh, no! Go back! I want to see the fight! I do not think my superiors would sanction my actions here, but I require more than this multiverse is capable of offering right now. I need a clarity from one who has seen the universe as I am seeing it now, an observer. He pulls out a skull that's been buried in the Earth's moon particles for God knows how many years. Actually, it's been like, let's see, 2020. Yeah, he's been dead for 4 years, and now he's coming back. Wake up, little god. Wake up, Metron. Yeah, turns out Metron's been dead. So remember in Darkseid War when he and Owlman of Earth 3 were having the Mobius chair, and Owlman said, "Tell me the secrets of everything. I want to know everything my mind is capable of absorbing." And then he says, and then he gets a ping. He doesn't get to answer it, but he realizes he is here. The Great One is here! And it was revealed that Dr. Manhattan killed them both, which, because he wanted to cover up his little meddling of history and time, which raises the question why can't he look for him? Like, I know in theory he's dead, and he's passed on his power to the little boy, Clark, but he could, he could revive him, clearly. But Metron has been reborn, so he's been dead for 4 years. That's actually surprising. But it was kind of inevitable he would come back. I do not understand. You were destroyed some time ago. I have reconstituted you. Yes, you were destroyed by a naked blue man whose dongle is hanging out. That is honestly pathetic for a new god. See for yourself. And who are you? I am a cosmic functionary of the greater Omniverse, tasked with recording the last of dying dying multiverses. I am called Chronicler. I require context for this mess you have made. The multiverse is dying? How long have I been dead? Who lies at the heart of this destruction? See for yourself. No! Yeah, there's a lot of no's going on. Also, yeah, in fact, now that I think about how much time has technically passed. It has been 4 years in our time he's been dead, but for the DC universe, it's probably like, at best, 6 months. Probably a year at best. No. Oh, we get the cosmic battle between gods. All right, we're fired up. We're gonna get back into the action. Oh yeah. You must help me understand. And we get more Chronicler talk. But this multiverse is different. These stories are different. And now they will be ripped apart by nightmares rather than reaching a natural conclusion. Most of the stories I've written in my book are mundane. They speak of ordinary people succumbing to entropy at the end of a long decay. I have seen many incredible things on many incredible worlds, but they pale in comparison to this place. I have seen beings with extraordinary abilities, but never on this scale. Oh, well, I did go to the Marvel Multiverse at one point, but that blew up because of the Beyonders, so really they weren't that important. Oh, they did have a great writer on there. I did like that guy. You must understand, Metron. I have fulfilled my function for millennia upon millennia by your relative standards. All this is new information to me. Perpetua free, the dark multiverse unleashed, all the secrets of the multiverse laid bare, ripping it to pieces. That is what I wish to understand. Why? I was a passive observer with my Mobius chair. I saw things from a micro perspective. The story I bore witness to consumed me. It carried such tremendous weight and felt so dire. You want to save it, don't you? You want to fix this multiverse and make it right, in defiance of your function. I do not understand. But then he ultimately confesses, remains silent, saying, with Metron explaining, it is difficult to explain. You know that I was once part of a great race of cosmic beings set against each other in the eternal struggle of good versus evil. I watched it unfold over millennia, and I played my part. Dire enough that time and time again I betrayed my function by meddling in the affairs of gods and mortals, lying to myself that it was all in the pursuit of knowledge. But separated from the chair, I see it differently now. I find it all rather beautiful. I even find what this multiverse has done to you beautiful. Yes. Then this is the multiverse is still serving its function, and it cannot truly die. The universe is built on belief. The little mortals believe in gods, and so the gods exist. The gods believe in the source, and so the source exists. You are the source, art you not? The source of creativity and creation that fuels all things in existence. Oh no, we're breaking the fourth wall, metatextual constructs. You are above me on the several rungs of the cosmic ladder, a being of the Omniverse, not a being of the multiverse, and still the source exists above you. Yes. The multiverse creates incredible evils that it might overcome, and there is always something good enough to counter the ultimate evil, to keep a balance. So it was on Apocalypse and New Genesis, but there are other battles, and now once again they rage on. One day the balance will fail, and perhaps that day is today, but I am comforted by the notion that the source retains a record. And I am comforted and even more that the one who came to take the record has become a believer in us. That means that our multiverse will never truly die. It will live on in stories and imagination, which at a cosmic scale makes it all real again. The Omniverse is infinite, its potential limitless. In one form or another, even if we are fully destroyed, we will live on. Are you certain? Of course not, but I believe. And I believe that if you saw the things that I have, if you followed the grand story from the beginning to the end, you would feel the same. I want to. Then see for yourself. The Chronicler sees the grand story of creation from start to finish, in all its cosmic majesty. New emotions swell in his chest. He believes in this universe. He believes in these characters. And in that belief, they become eternal. To be continued. Beautiful story, but let's get to the bleed, aka backup story time. There's a question you get when you're a leader. A question like a weight dropped on your shoulders. It usually comes in a hushed tone. They say your name first. It's a question like a hand and like a reaching out to you. And when it reaches out, you always expect it to reach back. That's the promise you have to keep. The carrier won't make it. We don't have much time. And here comes the questions. John, what do we do? John Stewart talks for Jessica Cruz. It was my favorite Green Lantern Corps members. And this is written by Brian Hill, writer. What did Hal say? He said to talk to you. Are you alright? After everything that happened, see, the multiverse is in for that part of the story. If I said no, would it matter? To me, yes. To the existential threat of the interdimensional oblivion? Probably not. The carrier's voluntary, you can't withstand much more of this. If the bleak keeps falling apart at this rate, we'll be raced along with the rest of the multiverse. We can try to risk it, keep moving. Kyle doesn't think that'll work. Earth, neither do I. We have a lot of lives on our hands, John. We always do, Jessica. Gather the lanterns. It's not impossible, guy. It's difficult, and it'll require all of us. But I don't stand there with the ring on your hand talking to me about what's impossible. Unified will, our combined power could break through the barrier and get us back to Earth Zero. Oh, and the lives depending on us. I'm all in. I think you're still wrecked from what happened to you and you're overcompensating. I am Dan DiDio Gardner. I am a nihilist. I think what's really going on is that you're scared you're the weak link in the plan. So, are you the weak link? Never in your life. Lead the way, hero. Don't think about the attempt. See the results. Hal, you're the pilot. Fly us through. On it. Boo! I kind of wanted John Stewart to be at the center because he's pretty much the leader of all this. Hal Jordan's just the iconic Green Lantern, even though he was dead for 20 years at one point. So they use the power of the Green Lantern's unified will, to push through. As John continues to narrate, leadership isn't making people do what you want them to do. even though that comes at a cost, and we do sometimes do that. Talk to Vince McMahon. I hear he's great at parties. Not when it matters. Not when you know what's at stake. Leadership is reminding the people around you, reminding them what they can do, making your faith in them, make them their faith in themselves, so that the impossible, the difficult, becomes the already done. But the problem with finding impossibility is the impossible always wants another round. And lo and behold, the ship arrives to see the darkest night. My God. Jessica Cruz says, shocked, we're too late. And Guy Gardner sums it up and say, fuck. Now I'm asking myself the same question. What do we do? He closes his eyes before saying, we're not too late. We just need more power, more soldiers in the fight. Gather the passengers. We promised you a return home. We failed to deliver on that. Because our home has changed. I won't promise to save you. I promise we'll give you the power to save yourselves. Our power. The light of the Green Lantern. So my question to you, who is after you have it, what are you going to do? And thus he presents the Green Lantern rings to all the various characters of the multiverse, such as President Superman, and Captain Carrot, Stan Lee's Wonder Woman, and various other people whose names I do not know. Oh, and Iris West, but yeah, I forget about her sometimes. Names? But I still remember Stan Lee's Wonder Woman, and which was drawn up by, I believe, Phil Jimenez, though I think it was Jim Lee. I keep thinking it was Jim Lee. I recognize the artwork, yeah. So it looks like Green Lantern Corps is about to get bigger than ever. So that was Dark Knight's Death Metal,
Rise of the New God.
and this is the most better tie-in of all of them, in my opinion. They still have a few more tie-ins to continue to see which one will beat the other one out, but from so far so good, this is at the top in my list of favorite tie-ins of this event. The previous one was Joshua Williamson's basic Flash epilogue story, Speed Metal. So yeah, and I love the perspective. This Chronicler basically being this, like, he looks like, if I had to take a guess of what he was trying to be from a metatextual standpoint, because it does feel Grant Morrissey, like someone from the outside looking in. And so let me take the best guess of what the Chronicler is. He's essentially the jaded, I've seen a lot, nothing will amaze me. I've seen so much, I'm not going to be amazed by this. Is this going to be your same standard stuff? And then he opens a book and was like, wow, this is awesome. And becomes emotionally connected. It reminds me of when Lee Carr said how he saw the Technus Imperative and was like, it promises all this, but like, he opens it and it's his favorite comic book of all time now. Oh, that's basically what the Chronicler is. He's essentially us. Essentially the guy who becomes jaded and everything. It's like, I've seen all this before, all entropy, all this is pointless, I'm not gonna be entertained. Then he gets entertained and loves it. Like, it's like a wrestling fan. Like, I believe someone on YouTube talked about this back when a certain wrestler was still popular and taking shots at Vince, where this fan was jaded, haven't watched wrestling in about a decade or so, or nearly a decade. And then he sees this guy coming out dressed up in this gear and this lavish entrance, and he's like, what is this? Oh my God, I gotta sit down and watch this. Oh my God, I haven't been this invested in a long time. It's sort of like that, the jaded outsider coming into something that he hasn't seen in a long time, or something new to him, doesn't expect any great things, and then lo and behold, oh my God, this is beautiful. And like I said, this is the best tie-in so far in this. I'm expecting Secret Origin to potentially top it, since it's with Scott Snyder and Jeff Johns involved, and we all know Jeff Johns is awesome. But James Tyrion IV has really told a very interesting angle, and I get the feeling that the Chronicler will show up again in the Secret Origin, since it does mention how this will show the key, how that book will show the key in defeating the Darkest Night. But yeah, if I had to rank them so far, Robin King's probably at the lowest point, and Rise of the New God's at the highest. So these were my thoughts on Dark Knight's Death Metal, Rise of the New God, #1. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. For if you like, comment, subscribe, and donate, stay tuned for more. Or and keep on believing.